So now we're going to do B, which says that consider the arithmetic sequence of 3, 10, and 17. So B, we're having an arithmetic sequence of 3, 10, and 17, right? And then number 1 says that we must determine the general term of this sequence here. So we're just going to do what we've been doing previously. Our A value is equals to 3, our D is equals to, so if we say we have term number 1, term number 2, term number 3, so we're going to say term number 2 minus term number 1 is equal to term number 3 minus term number 2, of which D is equals to term number 2 is 10 minus term number 1 is 3 equals to term number 3 is 17 minus 10, and then our D is equals to 7, so it's constant throughout. So therefore our general term is T subscript n is equals to A plus into n minus 1 multiplied by D. So T subscript n is equals to our A value, which is 3, plus into n minus 1 multiplied by our D, which is 7, right? So this is minus 1, and then T subscript n is equal to this 7 and multiply everything that is inside. It's going to be 7n minus 7 plus 3, right? And then T subscript n is equal to 7n minus 4, right? So this is going to be our general term for this problem here. So let me just do number 2 now of this question. So number 1, we know that the general term is equals to 7n minus 4. So number 2 is saying that we must calculate the value of the 35th term of the sequence. So T of 35. So where does n, we substitute 35, so it's going to be 7 into 35 minus 4. So T of 35, so you're going to punch your calculator to get the value, which is 241, right? And then the third part of the question says that we need to identify the term number, right? If Tn is equals to 192. They say which term in the sequence is equals to 192, so meaning that you're having your Tn, which is equals to 7n minus 4, but Tn is equals to 192. So that's what it means when it says which term in the sequence is equals to, so meaning that we want n, right? So where does Tn, you're going to put 192 equals to 7n minus 4. We transpose the minus 4 to the other side. We have 7n is equals to 192 plus 4, right? And then from here you can divide by 7, and then your n value is equals to, so you're going to punch this 192 plus 4 divided by 7, right? And then your n value is going to be equals to 28. So that is your answer for this problem here. So we are done with the first 3 questions of this problem here, and then now we're going to move on. Going to move on to C, right? Consider the arithmetic sequence of half, minus 1, and minus 5 over 2. So C, we have a sequence of 1 over 2, minus 1, minus 5 over 2, right? So we are told that it's an arithmetic sequence. And then the first part of the question, we need to identify the general term of the sequence. So in this case, our A value is 1 over 2, right? A value is the first term. And then we need to find the difference, because that is the property that defines an arithmetic sequence. So meaning that you have to say term number 2 minus term number 1 is equals to term number 3 minus term number 2, right? And then our D is equals to term number 2, it's minus 1, minus term number 1 is 1 over 2 is equals to minus 5 over 2 minus 1, right? D is equals to, let me write it properly, minus 1 minus 1 over 2 equals to minus 5 over 2 minus 1. So our D in this problem here is going to be minus 3 over 2. So please confirm, punch this in your calculator and see what you're getting in this part here. So I'm getting minus 3 over 2, and we know the general formula of an arithmetic sequence is t subscript n is equals to a plus n minus 1 multiplied by d, right? Of which our a value is equals to 1 over 2, which is the first term. Our d is equals to minus 3 over 2. So you substitute that, t subscript n is equals to 1 over 2 plus into n minus 1 multiplied by minus 3 over 2. So put it in brackets, and then you're going to multiply this minus 3 over 2 throughout, and then you're going to get t subscript n is equals to minus 3 over 2n plus 3 over 2 plus 1 over 2, right? So your t subscript n is going to be minus 3 over 2 plus 2. So this is going to be your general term of this problem here. So the first part of the question, we found Tn is equals to minus 3 over 2n plus 2. So in the second part of the question, we are asked to calculate the 100th term of the sequence. So t of 100 is equals to minus 3 over 2 into 100 plus 2. So please punch this in your calculator and confirm that you're getting minus 148. Right, so you're getting t subscript of 100, which is minus 148. And then number 3, we are asked to find the term in which is equals to minus 22, right? So if the sequence is equals to minus 22, so tn is equals to minus 22, so we are asked to find n, right? So meaning that you're going to use the formula, right, which is t subscript n is equals to minus 3 over 2n plus 2. So t subscript n is minus 22 equals to minus 3 over 2n plus 2. So transpose the 2 to the other side. We're going to have minus 22 minus 2 is equals to minus 3 over 2n, right? And then it's minus 24 is equals to minus 3 over 2n. You can cross multiply the 2, you can just divide by minus 3 over 2 both sides, divide by minus 3 over 2, and just punch that in your calculator. So therefore n is equals to 16, right? So that is the answer for this problem here. So now we're going to do D, which we are told that you should consider the arithmetic sequence of 12, 8, and 4, right? So it's going to be 12, 8, and 4, and we are told that it's an arithmetic sequence. And number 1, you're asked to find t of subscript 23. So the first part of the question, you're asked to find t of 23. Right, but we can't find the t of 23 without finding the general term of the sequence. Right, so let's first find the general term of the sequence. We know that the a value is equals to 12, which is this one here, and then d is equals to term number 2 minus term number 1 is equals to term number 3 minus term number 2. What is term number 2? It's this one here, which is 8 minus term number 1, which is 12, equals to term number 3, which is 4 minus term number 2, which is 8. So d is equals to 8 minus 12, which is going to give you minus 4, right? So minus 4 will be constant throughout. So we have a is equals to 12, we have d, which is equals to minus 4. Now we can find the general term, which the formula says t subscript n is equals to a plus into n minus 1 multiplied by d. T subscript n is equals to our a value is 12 plus into n minus 1 multiplied by our d, which is minus 4, right? And then t subscript n is equals to this minus 4, multiply everything that is inside, so it's minus 4n plus 4 plus 12, right? So t subscript n is equals to minus 4n plus 16. So this is going to be our general term for the sequence. Remember, we are looking for t of 23, right? So now that we have the general term, we'll be able to find that. So what we'll do is we have t n is equals to minus 4n plus 16, and then we're going to substitute t of 23. Let me just write this properly. T of 23 is equals to minus 4 into 23 plus 16, right? So just gonna punch that in your calculator and tell me what you're getting. So what I'm getting in my calculator is minus 76, right? So this is going to be the answer for this first part of the question. So now we know that it's going to be minus 76, right? And in the second part of the question, we are asked to determine the value of k if t subscript k is equals to minus 168. So if t subscript k is equals to minus 168, find the value of k, right? Remember that our tn is equals to minus 4 plus 16, right? Of which you can write it in terms of k. So t of k is equals to minus, oops, I made a mistake here. T subscript n is equals to minus 4n plus 16, right? We can write it in terms of k. T subscript k is equals to minus 4k plus 16. So we are given tk, which is equals to minus 168. So we are asked to find k. So it's going to be minus 168 is equals to minus 4k. So I'm just going to substitute the minus 168 here. And then plus 16, right? The plus 16 transposes to the other side. We have minus 168 minus 16 equals to minus 4k. Divide by minus 4, divide by minus 4. So our k value is equals to minus 168 minus 16 over 4 minus 4. So punch this in your calculator. You will get k as equals to 46. Then you are done. So now we're going to do E, which we are told that find the number of terms in the arithmetic sequence. So we need to identify the number of terms of this sequence here. So we are given minus 5, minus 11, minus 17, and the end of the sequence, which is minus 491, right? So you're asked to find n, right? So what we have here is our a value, which is minus 5, and our d is equal to term number 2 minus term number 1 is equal to term number 3 minus term number 2, right? So d is equals to term number 2 is this minus 11 minus our term number 1 is minus 5 equals to minus 17 minus minus 11. Please take note of these negative and don't make a mistake. So d is equals to minus 11 plus 5, because minus multiplied by the minus is positive, equals to minus 17 plus 11, right? So our d value for this problem here is going to be minus 6, right? So we're having our d value. Remember, I want to find n, right? So our d is equals to minus 6, right? So our general term of the sequence here, tn is equals to a plus into n minus 1 multiplied by d. So tn is equals to our a value, which is minus 5, plus into n minus 1, our d is minus 6. So we don't have to simplify it because what we're looking for is n. So we can simply substitute this. This last term is going to be here at minus 491 because we're going to identify the number of terms of the entire sequence, right? Hence the Tn is equals to minus 491. It's equals to minus 5 plus into n minus 1 multiplied by minus 6, right? So it's minus 491. I'm going to transpose this 5 to the other side. It's going to be positive 5 equals to n minus 1 multiplied by minus 6. And then this minus 6 will multiply everything that is inside. So if minus 491 plus 5 equals to minus 6n plus 6. And then this plus 6 is going to be transposed to the other side. We have minus 491 plus 5 minus 6 equals to minus 6n. Right, you can just divide by minus 6, divide by minus 6. So n is equals to, so you're going to punch all of this in your calculator to find your value of n, right? So my value of n is 82. This is what I'm getting. Done for this problem here. Okay, so now we are going to do f, right? How many terms are there in the arithmetic sequence? So we are given the arithmetic sequence of minus 2, 1 over 2, 3, and then it ends at 3, 6, 1 over 2. So what you're going to do is this. You want to identify n, right? We know the a value is equals to minus 2. Now we need to identify the value of d, right? First, before we continue. So since this is an arithmetic sequence, d is equals to term number 2 minus term number 1 is equals to term number 3 minus term number 2, right? So term number 2 is equals to 1 over 2 minus term number 1, which is minus 2, equals to term number 3, which is 3, minus 1 over 2. So our d in this problem here is going to be 5 over 2 equals to 5 over 2. It's what I'm getting, both sides. So now that we found our d, we'll be able to find our value of n, right? So let me write this properly. So we want the value of n. We know a is equals to minus 2. We know d is equals to 5 over 2. Our Tn is equals to a plus into n minus 1 multiplied by d. Our Tn in this case, because we want to identify the number of terms of the entire sequence. So the last term, which is this one here, we're going to put it as our Tn, which is 3, 6, 1 over 2, equals to our a value, which is minus 2, plus into n minus 1 multiplied by our d, which is 5 over 2. And then we transpose this minus 2 to the other side. We have 3, 6, 1 over 2 plus 2 equals 2. And then this 5 will multiply everything that is inside. So it's going to be 5 over 2n minus 5 over 2. Then we transpose this minus 5 over 2 to the other side. We have 3, 6, 1 over 2 plus 2 plus 5 over 2 equals to 5 over 2n. And then we divide everything by 5 over 2. You can simplify this and just punch it in your calculator before you even divide. It's up to you. I'm just going to divide everything. So it's 5 over 2, both sides. And then my n value is equals to 3, 6, 1 over 2 plus 2 plus 5 over 2 over 5 over 2. So I'm going to punch this in my calculator. And I'm getting n, which is equal to 74. So this is the final answer for this problem here. And then you are done. So So now I'm going to do G. Given the sequence here, which I'm told are the first three terms of the arithmetic sequence, and the first part of the question here has to find the value of x, right? So I'm having x minus 8, which is the first term, x and 2x minus 5, right? And I'm told that this is an arithmetic sequence, and the first part of the question I need to determine x, right? So to determine the value of x, you need to first apply your basics of the arithmetic sequence, right? So we're having x minus 8, x and 2x minus 5, right? Of which this is your term number 1, this is your term number 2, this is your term number 3, right? So we need to first find the common difference, or you can say constant difference, of this arithmetic sequence, which is t2 minus t1 equals to t3 minus t2. So this will help us identify the value of x, because the equations will equate each other. So meaning that t2 is going to be x minus into x minus 8, right? Put the brackets so that you don't make the mistake of the negative. And then term number 3, which is this one here, which is 2x minus 5, I'm gonna put it in bracket minus the x, right? Then now we can simplify everything. So this negative will multiply everything that is inside here, so it's going to be x minus x plus 8 equals to 2x minus 5 minus x. So this is going to be 0, so it's going to be 8 equals to, then we collect the like term, so it's going to be x minus 5, then you transpose the minus 5 to the other side. We have x equals to 8 plus 5, right? So meaning that x is equals to 13. So this is going to be your final answer for this problem here. And then now we move on to another question. So to confirm that you are correct, you can just simply substitute your x values here, here, and here. So once you've substituted, actually let's do it. Let's check if our answer is correct. Because you can find any value of x and assume that the answer is correct, and then once you continue to another question, your answer will further make you wrong. So it's always advisable to check if your answer is correct. So we have x minus 8 as our sequence, and x and 2x minus 5. But we know that the answer for our x is 13, right? So what you can do is you can substitute 13. So you can, where there's x, you put 13. So it's 13 minus 8, 13, and 2 into 13, let me close bracket, minus 5, right? And then you just subtract everything here, so it's going to be 5, 13, and then here it's going to be 26 minus 5, right? So it's 5, 13, and 21. So to confirm that your answer is correct, you need to find the common difference of these two answers here, right? So if the common difference is the same, then that means your value of x is correct. So meaning that you say d is equals to 13 minus 5 equals to 21 minus 13. Remember, term number 2 minus term number 1, and then term number 3 minus term number 2, right? So 13 minus 5, you're just going to get 8 equals to, even here, 21 minus 13, you're just going to get 8. So your difference is common throughout, right? So meaning that your value of x is actually correct. So x is definitely equals to 13. So then after you do your check, you're just going to continue. So now going to do the second part of the question, which says that we must determine the general term of the sequence. So since we have x minus 8, we have x, and we have 2x minus 5, so you're just going to substitute the x, meaning it's 13 minus 8, 13, and 2 into 13, close bracket, minus 5, right? 13 minus 8, you're just going to get here we're just gonna get 5, sorry. So remember the sequence. Oops. Okay, so the second part of the question, we are asked to determine the general term of the sequence here. So the sequence is x minus 8, x and 2x minus 5, right? Of which we found our x value to be equal to 13. So just going to substitute that. Excuse me. So just going to substitute that into where we see x, we're just going to be putting 13, right? So it's going to be 13 minus 8, 13, 2 into 13 minus 5, right? So you're just going to subtract here, you're going to get 5, right, properly. So you're going to get 5, and then here it's 13, and here just going to be 26 minus 5, which you'll get 21. So this is going to be your sequence here, and you're asked to find the general term. Our a value is equals to 5, our d is equals to term number 2 minus term number 1 equals to term number 3 minus term number 2. So remember, we found this when we did our checks for the first part of the question. So our d value is equals to 13 minus 5 is equals to 21 minus 13, right? So d is equals to 8, right? So that is our d value, and then now you'll be able to find the general term of the sequence. So let me just erase here. To write everything properly, so we have 5, 13, 21, a is equals to 5, d is equals to 8, tn is equals to a plus into n minus 1 multiplied by d, tn is equals to our a value is 5 plus into n minus 1, our d is 8. 8 will multiply throughout, so it's going to be t subscript n is equals to 8n minus 8 plus 5, and then t subscript n is equals to 8n minus 3, right? So this is going to be your general term of this problem here. So I'm just going to write it here. The general term of this problem is 8n minus 3. So now the third part of the question, which is this one here. So we have to determine the value of 115th term. So t of 115 is equals to, so equal to substitute in this equation here, which is 8 into 115 minus 3, right? And then your final answer should be 917. Please confirm with your calculator. T115 is equals to 917.
Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, please write them down in the comment section below. Otherwise, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to click that bell button.